Okay, let's try this today. Hello, I'm the one they call Pappy. This is Grenade Mentality Works. It's just another Monday. It's been another Monday for about 3 weeks now. Been working on the 317 here and getting off this hub. I'm going to post a video real quick here that'll show you how fun it was getting it off. This was one of the worst repairs I've had. Maybe, I'd say 30 years. That dang thing was so tough. They about beat me to death. But it might give you a good laugh. And I tried everything for it. I mean, I tried everything. Every tool I had, ended up having to buy something. And I don't normally like to buy something just for one little repair. Who knows? Maybe I'll have to move a mountain later. I'll have the tool to do it. All right, I did a couple of checks on the 317, and I'll turn 314, excuse me, on the 314 here. And what I did, let me switch around here. You don't want to look at me anyhow. What I did was I got rid of the corroded terminals, and I put 2 new terminals on that battery. Okay, here's what I found with the with the battery cables. Someone thinks I'm Mike Tyson. It's all right. You'll see here that it looks like it's spray painted. The wires look spray painted, but I'll tell you that is not spray paint. That's corrosion, and heat caused that. Now the inside of it isn't black, so it's more corrosion than heat. And if I can, I'll show you. This has got a lot of it just knocked off. And what I did was I took a brush and I brushed from here out with a wire brush, steel wire brush. Works very well on this. And this is solid copper. It's not plated. You know, you have a problem with some of these plated wires whenever they corrode like that, and you go to try and brush them off. You have to use a full brass brush, not brass plated steel brush, which is what they're pushing now. And what you'll do is you'll just take it and brush from this end out so you don't fray it up into a ball, and you'll keep it nice and straightened out like that. It'll fan out a little bit on the end, but you can pull that all together in your clamp. And you'll stick it in here, raise it up, loosen the bolts, raise it up, stick it in, clamp it down. It'll end up like this. And yes, these 2 new terminals. And I did clean the battery posts and clean the inside of the terminals, because the inside of the terminals, although they're new, do have some oxidation on it from the founding. So this one's all set up nice and tight. This one, I'm going to finish it up, get it on, and then you know what I've done with the battery terminals. So I did clean them up for everyone that sees it and says, hey, wait a minute, you got to take care of that. I did. Okay, back to the video. That battery is, we can see here, that'll focus in. I believe it says February of 2014 is actually the date that battery was bought. She's still going strong. And that is a very tough little tractor battery, and not a regular car battery. It's a, oh well, anyhow, it was only guaranteed to 914, I think. It's got a sticker on it for that. That got me a lot more speed on turning the thing over because it was turning over real slow, and I thought, well, that battery's about had it now. No, that battery's still going strong, and it spun over this engine real well. And so I thought, oh, it still has an issue firing, and it fired up for that one video, and that's all this thing has fired. And I put in a new carburetor, and to do that it was a real pain in the butt, but I got that done. I tried rebuilding the old one. It didn't quite work, and I broke off one of the choke plate screws, and that messed up the linkage rod that was in it. The leaf was extra. Speaking of leaves, we had our last little storm to knock leaves off the tree, and I had all this cleaned out real well. Now I'm buried in leaves one last time for the year. I think I'll be able to clean this up and have done with them all. So anyhow, after all the new gas line and everything else to make sure I had fuel, I said, well, let's go ahead and check the plug. The plug's good. It's new. Still no spark. I decided, well, I'll go ahead, I'll check the compression. I'll throw the link, throw in another little insert video right here. You aren't going to believe how much compression this thing had. Okay, here we go. The neighbor dogs are somewhat quiet, and so I'll try and show you what I'm doing here. I have a compression tester hooked up in the cylinder around, and then this is the dial that you will be able to see how many psi I have in the cylinder, as how many pounds pressure as I crank it. So here we go. Okay. I think, whoop, dadgummit. Do that again real quick. I saw 30 psi, and where's the ignition here? Wait a minute. All right, ready? That's quite enough to find out. And I see 30 psi, maybe 35, no, 30 psi. That's kind of unfortunate, but now this engine does have a compression release on it, where it will kind of like raise the, I believe it raises the exhaust valve just a little bit higher. I'm 50-50 chance on whether I'm right. It could be the intake valve. I haven't been in to physically see one myself, and I don't know. But anyhow, it does have a compression release on it for starting. And we can see if it'll fire with a little bit of ether. I have a, now you remember I had the new fuel, I ran a new fuel line from the tank up to the fuel pump. The fuel pump is working. The gas line is shut off. I got a brand new filter, and it's up into the carburetor. All new lines. So I won't have a collapsed line as soon as I get this thing going to have it fail. But I haven't tried the air cleaner. I think the air cleaner will go on this and not be restricted because of that. I don't want this to interfere with the governor of linkage. So I have it down a little bit further, and I'll still be able to shut this on and off. Now the side pans, let me see, this one would be for this side. It is, you can see what kind of a problem I have with the exhaust. It was a little bit rusted out. So, let's see. This is the other side. Nope, that's the correct side. That's the correct side. And that is how it goes on. So this will go on here and mount somewhere right in here. Oop. Which will give me an access point underneath. Let me see. I cannot see what you are seeing, so I'll still be able to get in here to the gas shut off. I'm hoping you guys can see that. It's going to be awful hard. But anyhow, these are not lined up. They're not lined up with the front. They're crooked. So the front end I haven't adjusted yet. I just got it put back on. And I have a Cub Cadet muffler that I'm going to have to adapt to go in here just a little bit. It's kind of short. Oop, if you can see in between here, it doesn't quite fit on that. Well, it's a 45 degree street L that is black pipe. That is how it comes out of the engine. So I'm going to have to get a little bit longer one, or put a small nipple on a 45 pipe fitting. And we'll get that taken care of whenever I come to it, which is getting pretty soon. But anyhow, that's how much compression I have. Problem is, I may end up pulling the head just to see how the valves are and make sure that they do seat. Alright, anyhow, that's the compression on the engine. Back to the video. So it looks as though I'll be pulling this engine and maybe do a little quick rebuild on it. I don't think I'm going to do a bore and all this other fancy stuff. I'm just going to put some new rings and new piston, connecting rod, that kind of thing. Just what they call a major overhaul, but without any machining. I'm going to keep it stock. And I cleaned out the gas tank because it did have a little bit of debris in it. Like someone had put a handful of dirt down inside it. Now these are the shoes that was in. Those are the shoes that was in this drum. And this is the drum. And you can probably tell by the dings and dents in it. It didn't come off easy. I have a replacement drum here for it. It's in pretty good shape. Even has the felt for it. So felt ring just to help keep the dust and dirt out of the grease, out of the bearings. And this is one of the parts I went ahead and I ordered off of eBay because it had a good brake pad, one good shoe. The other one you can see it had let go. By the way, if anyone has a recommendation on what kind of adhesive to use to put new lining on these shoes, I'll probably end up doing that with some of them, see how they work. Well, anyhow, I have one good shoe on this side. The other side, it didn't have one. I have one good spring, one good keeper, One good keeper spring right here. And I think that's going to require a few parts. But this one shoe here will match up on that side. And then I have to get into the donor over there, the 317 donor, and it should have the same shoes on it if I remember correctly. Might not. Well, if not, well, I'm going to have to find some shoes for it and get them here. I bought some on eBay, but they never showed up. These days, you don't know how long it's going to be before something shows up, so I'm not going to give the guy anything negative. If they can show they shipped it, by golly, yeah, I'll accept that. I'll still give them 5 stars. 314 didn't come with the seat, so I ordered a seat for it. Oh my goodness, looky. I think it's actually getting cold in the south. That is a piece of ice. I haven't seen a piece of ice for a year and a half, something like that. Pretty good. So winter is here. Severe winter. We had ice. That may be the first frost for the year too. I wonder if the persimmons are good. Okay, anyhow, I'm going to get off here. Just a little quick video to let you know that I've been beating myself to death on this one little project, and I should have stopped and started posting some of this other little stuff just to get something online to keep feeding. You got to feed the troops, and I wasn't feeding the troops. I had a couple guys that gave me a comment that I need to post more stuff. So anyhow, grab your horse, go out, have a little camping trip, do something. Just get out for a little walk on the street. It don't matter. And everybody stay safe, and I'll catch you a little later.